Good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Chris Willatt, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Hola. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
And we're only 3 minutes late.
Oh, my gosh. Tom, that's a minute late for you. You usually
I know. It's,
like
it's all on
late.
me.
I know.
It's
so
all on me.
What? Are you actually admitting to it being on you? What?
I always admit.
You're making me so nervous. I am so nervous.
My shortcoming.
Are you guys on time, people? Is that like...
No, I'm on time. And normally, Tom is an on-time person in real life, but for some reason, he has decided that Smart Business Moves should never start on time.
Oh, man. Well, I appreciate it because I need the help. So...
All right. Well, I don't know. We're not going to be able to give it to you with Smart Business Moves, but anything else. Okay. But if we're going to talk about being on time, I have to talk about Joe. We haven't talked about Joe in a while.
Okay.
And yeah. So Joe, if you're listening out here,
Joe Walsh, Green Clean, Maine, Portland, Maine.
Yeah. I have to mention that. So Tom is a stickler about being on time when we're leaving, when we're doing foundations, and we stay.
People are paying us. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, and we have to be there early, and there's a lot going on, right? So we're going to leave on time, and we're heading out to foundations. We leave at what time do we normally leave, Tom? Like 7?
Yeah, I mean it varies from day to day, but call it 7. Yeah,
usually around 7 o'clock. So Tom has a large house. Downstairs, he has like a mother-in-law's apartment, and it has a bedroom that I have. I'm usually in the bedroom, and then somebody else, Joe Walsh, is in the other area. Like he's sleeping on like a hide-a-bed and has a kitchen, blah, blah, blah. So I'm coming out of the bedroom. I've taken my shower. I've done my hair. I've done my makeup. All of this takes a long time. And we're going to be leaving in about 12-ish minutes. And Joe's in bed. And I'm like, what is happening? I can't play mom to this guy. So I start like banging things around on the counter. I'm like, trying to be really loud, like making noise while I'm listening to my book. And Joe wakes up, and now it's like been 2 minutes. It's like 10 minutes now, or maybe 8. I think it's like 8, wasn't it, Tom?
It was quick.
I think it was like 8 minutes, and he's like, oh, stretching. And,
you came out and we were sitting in the truck, and you said, I don't know about this. Joe's like just getting out of bed.
It was like 6 minutes at that point. Yeah. I'm like, he's like, hey, Liz. I'm like, hey, Joe, we got to leave like in just a few minutes here, right? He's like, oh, yeah. It's like 8 minutes, right? I'm like, what's happening? So I'm like freaked out. I go out in the truck. Tom's out there, of course, waiting. I'm out there. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Are we
going to have to like just tell him to get an Uber? Do we go? We're
literally trying to figure out, what do we do? We're going to have to leave without him. Right. And 7 o'clock, out bounces Joe, perfectly dressed, showered, shaved, the whole thing. I'm like, how have you ever heard of something like that? Well, you don't have any hair either.
So I was going to say, Liz, if I could interrupt. No. I happen to know what Joe looks like.
Okay. But still, he's got to wash all the parts. He's still got to get dressed.
Well, hot spots, but we won't go there. It's a different podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much time. It's very simple, right? You get out of bed, take a little sink bath.
Gosh. No, he took a full shower.
Yeah.
Well,
that's full shower.
That's inspirational to me.
What? And fully dressed. His clothes were very tidy. He had a full belt on, a shirt, pants, slacks, shoes. I'm like, what? An hour and a half takes me to get out of the house. It's like 6 minutes, right? By the time he finally got out of bed, I'm guessing it was like 6 minutes. Wow, it was so impressive.
So Joe's on time, even though he doesn't deserve to be.
Oh, yeah, but he's on time. Yeah. So Anyway, I guess that was a really long-winded story to be able to get into what we're talking about. But Chris, you haven't been on in a while. So why don't you give everybody a refresher about who you are, what you're up to these days? Say hi to your cat.
Yeah. I'm here with Bill, the cat.
Hey, Bill.
I'm Chris Willatt. I am founder of Alpine Maids in Denver, Colorado, and also a partner at the Carpet Monkey. Small right now. We have one location in Las Vegas, and we will be franchising that coming up very soon. I'm hoping, I don't know if I should put out the timeline. I might get in trouble.
Give us
2025. 2025.
Wow.
It's kind of similar missions for both companies. What we're working toward at Alpine Maids is elevating what it means to be a maid. And quite simply, I think mental health has taken the spotlight in culture, and it's getting a lot of recognition, the recognition that it deserves. And it's a really good time for home service companies and especially maid services to step up and be a part of this, because we contribute so heavily to that, right? I mean, you guys know, like, stress builds up, and people really are starting to understand, like, hey, I mean, if I can have a clean space and a clean home, it's such a great platform to feel good and to start accomplishing things. And
if I don't have the burden and stress and responsibility to having to keep it clean.
Yeah. Do the work.
Yeah, exactly. And seriously, credit to you guys. I mean, MaidCentral has helped this. There's a mission there to professionalize this industry, and we're running this company professionally. And that's how we're going to make this vision happen of elevating what it means to be a maid, and really, again, just giving maids the recognition in the fight that we have, or in the just for what we're accomplishing as far as like helping mental health and giving people time and giving people space. And you guys saw my post today. We made Inc. 5000, so one of the 5,000 fastest growing companies in America, which is just an absolute honor. Full credit to my team. And again, professional team that we have operating here. They are all so capable. They're rowing in the same direction. Every single client that supported us. And our maids, man, our maids are so good. So, hey, you had it ready. There we are.
Here you are right here, Chris. 3,244, 151% 3-year growth. You know, that's quite an accomplishment. Yeah. How many do you have any idea how many companies applied for this?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I do know that, you know, Matt Ricketts and Trisha Lake, TLC, Better Life, they're on there, right? And it's just so cool to see these maid services popping up on 5,000 fastest growing companies in America. I don't know how many.
I saw it, but I'm trying to find it again here real quick.
3,100 repeat honorees. You know, 875,000 jobs added. Like, how huge is that, right? I mean, we're looking at like economic reports as far as like less jobs being added, and hey, here's about 876,000 right here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. So congratulations. Thanks for you know, when you lift us up, when you lift yourself up, you lift us all up, right? You're lifting up our entire industry. So
and I would definitely encourage, like, anybody watching this, any maid service founder, home business, any founder, just apply, right? Like, you're looking at this 150% growth, but I mean, if you go further down the list, even around 100%, you have a good chance of making this list. And the more that we can get on here, the more we can elevate this whole industry.
So you can't apply yet. It'll open up again the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. And when it does, well, I'm pushing on my circle members definitely to apply, but everybody everybody that's trying to get serious about business needs to be pushing a little bit more.
So Trisha and Matt are on here too. Where are they?
Matt is 3665.
Okay.
Nice.
You can find him there.
Here we go.
There he is.
129%.
Yep. And then we have Trisha is 3907.
Okay.
And next year we're going to be in the 2000s together, right?
Yes.
So,
I've done coaching with all these people, and I can attest to the fact that these are the real deal companies. These are companies that are really working to be professionally managed, to make a big difference, not just go out there and clean a couple of homes and, have a job.
All three went through foundations.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
And really, that was not that long ago. I mean, I look at your growth, Chris. It's so impressive.
Right? 2017 or 8. Oh my God. That's still like traumatic for me. That was like, you guys remember me.
You were, if I could tell a story, you were thinking about getting out of the house cleaning business and going back to the oil patch.
Yeah.
And with good reason at that time, right? You were not in a great place at that time.
No, I mean, speaking to mental health, right? I mean, I was working 1 million hours a week.
Yeah.
I didn't know how. I remember.
Didn't you have people quit on you while you were there?
Oh God, yeah.
All of them almost. Wasn't it all of them?
I think it ended up being our entire staff over the course of a couple of weeks. And it was just such a huge lesson for me to look inward. And it happened because of mismanagement. And it happened because of me as a founder not showing up. And I could have been more humble. I could have been more empathetic. And those are skills that I've just really had to work on over the years, right? To get to where we are. It's huge personal development has gotten us here.
You could have had professional management software. Actually, it wasn't on the market at that time, but
yeah.
So where's Trisha?
3907.
Oh, I missed her. Okay. So coincidentally, Chris, Trisha, and Matt, all three are MaidCentral partners as well.
Yeah.
No shock.
Maybe
shock.
I'm sorry, 39.
You'll see. 117%.
Oh,
Even faster.
Yeah,
Wow.
you go.
There she is.
Wow.
I say coincidentally, but it's not coincidental, I don't think. It's you guys have made these commitments and the training and everything that you're doing in your business to build professionally managed companies. So this isn't a coincidence at all. You guys earned this. You made it happen.
Yeah.
And you're serious about your businesses. All of you are serious about your businesses. It's not just fun and games. You're not just going out there to, see what you can do. It's not just building a job.
No, we're not drive-by entrepreneurs, right? We're not drive-by founders.
No, not at all.
Intentional, right?
Yeah. Super excited.
Thanks. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And building us all up. Thanks for that.
So other than winning, national awards and, major business journals, what else you been up to, Chris? And starting or on the verge of starting a franchise coaching business. What else you been up to?
Man, just trying to be there for these kids and this cat. Hold on, guys. This cat, I have to let this
Bill, come on now.
He's the neediest in the family. Maybe right behind me. Come on, buddy.
He also, since the last time he was on here, he had a new baby.
I did. So Lily's 6 months.
Yeah.
Jack
Oh,
turned
Chris.
3.
I thought you were talking about the cat.
No.
We got a new cat.
We got a little girl now. So they got the perfect setup. They got a boy, they got a girl.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think like that really kind of comes back to what my whole vision is, which is like, where did we elevate what it means to be a maid? And it's like, okay, mental health's important. And so the same thing at business, I take the things that I really like and I'm really good at, and I'm like, I'm going to do these things. And you guys have tried to teach me this for years, and it's stuck. and I'm doing it. It's so weird to be on a podcast with with the people who were coaching me and have like built the tools that made this possible. You guys have like seen the whole journey. It's just surreal, but mental health's important. Take the things that I like to do, take the things that I'm really good at, do that. If I'm not good at it, don't do it. Find somebody else to do that. Or if maybe I'm okay at it, but I really don't like it, same thing. Find somebody else to do it, right? And so like with my family, being able to like focus on them, and we have an awesome nanny, Sarah, over here, who allows me to to build these businesses and support all of our employees and our clients. Like it takes an army, right? Personal life, business life, like takes a lot of help.
Yeah. There was a speaker at Donald Miller. Do you all know who Donald Miller is?
No.
Story Brand.
Yeah, Story Brand, How to Grow Your Small Business. I love that book. So he was a speaker, and one of the things he was talking about is he's talking about Who Not How, the book Who Not How.
You're talking about, yeah, he lives in Nashville.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. Oh, interesting that you would know that. Actually, it's not at all.
I know where everybody lives.
I know. I don't even know what I'm thinking. You always do. But he said that as fast as possible, I loved this. He said, as fast as possible, you want to find the who's that can do every single thing that you do except, hey, Trisha, except manage your intimate life. Yeah, except that, and your relationships with your kids.
Yeah.
He said, other than those two things, everything else should be done by somebody else.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
He was weirdly smiling when his whole team left, wasn't he? We couldn't even tell how freaked out you were. I wasn't going to mention that, but Trisha mentioned it. So
it was either that or cry.
it was great. But you did look weirdly chill.
At Foundations, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are you going to do? Just like,
Well, what most people do in situations that were not even close to that bad, Chris, was freak out, jump up, go upstairs, cry, get on the phone, not be able to work anymore, not be able to learn it. Right, Tom? We saw that too.
yeah, it's a good
We have seen that
We have
more
seen
than
that.
once.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's not going to help, right? I mean, it's already happening. I already made the bad decisions that led to this. I can't, all I can focus on is what's next, and I'm here to learn about what's next. So I may as well try to pay attention. I think I maybe got half as much as I would have had I been in a better place, but I got a lot.
But you also took advantage of, we had 6 months of coaching afterwards.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you did not miss any of your coaching calls. I mean, you were dedicated. You really were dedicated.
Yeah, and it's like it's exercising, right? I mean, just like you just have to work it out and just keep going, keep trying.
Yeah.
And that's it's really just what we've implemented. I mean, everything that we've been talking about at Alpine is who, not how, and simple processes. Because if your process is simple and you find the right person, they're going to be able to do it, right? I mean, I've seen people just build these like complex systems, right? That are like linked to maybe 10 different softwares, and there's like videos, and like some of it's in Loom, some of it's over here. So, and it's like, how would you even manage this process? Like there's so many steps and so many softwares and so many things, and it's just like simple. Just simplify.
But did you had to go through a process? I'm trying to ask a question.
Yeah.
I mean, did you go through a journey where you figured out that simple was better after doing some things in a complex way? And
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I think I probably gave you so much crap in the early days of MaidCentral, where I'm like, I need this. We needed to integrate to this software. It's just like, if we don't have this software, we're dead, right?
I'm building this elaborate, campaign, and I've got like 152 steps in it, and it's like, okay.
It hinders you so much, right? Because like, as we've grown, one of the things that I have to do this quarter, because, well, A, it's my job, but B, I made it, and it's just this like beast of a marketing system that's set up through Infusionsoft and Zapier and YouTube videos, and I'm trying to parse it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, some of this stuff is so outdated. It's like language that we would never use in our company anymore.
There isn't even a company called Infusionsoft anymore, Chris. That's
that's how in the past I am like digging into this stuff. No, not to say anything bad about Infusionsoft. It's fine. But having to
it doesn't exist anymore.
Not to say anything bad about Keep.
There you go.
But yeah, sorting through all this crap is just been a nightmare, and especially as we scale and as we want to continue to scale and build repeatable processes. If we're bogged down by all of this stuff and we need to pivot, I mean, my God, like now it's I don't know where that lives. I don't know where that process is. You clicked something wrong, now everything's broken. Whereas you just take a list, right? I can make stuff sound real simple, but here, look, here's the process. You're smart. I trust you. Here you go. Give it a shot. Throw some KPIs up there. Hold your people accountable. If they're the right people, they're going to make it happen for you. And where does it live? What technology are you using? It does matter, right? I mean, I'm not saying like, hey, your tech stack doesn't matter at all. It certainly does. But if you just have somebody who can own it, and somebody who can take it, you're going to be able to scale, and you're going to be able to pivot and not get bogged down. I think that's what got us through COVID. It also helped we were smaller, but I mean, we didn't have to rip everything apart. We were able to just very quickly communicate with our people and say, hey, we need to change a couple things. We're going to wear masks. We're going to sanitize. We're going to, and it was an easy pivot with a great team.
And even some of that stuff you had to simplify, which is, I think, bringing us to our topic for the day, right? About harnessing remote workers and how to manage them and how to get the most out of them.
Yeah.
I did want to say real quick, though, Tom, you have been preaching about simplicity since I've known you, and how important it is that, like, even when people are, you have to fight against this. So we all hear this, like, your to-do list is big, but your to-don't list needs to be a lot bigger, right? Don't do these things. And I know you struggle, and you have for over the years, especially since MaidCentral, because that don't list is really big and people want the stuff on that don't list, right? But you have to keep everybody simple. And we all have a tendency to want to blow it up. We want more. We need this, we need that.
We've had a lot of discussions about that over the years, haven't we, Liz? Going back to cleaning business builders and training programs, and but I think Chris is definitely figured it out, and it's producing results. You can see it from the Inc. 5000 list. And you mentioned the term scale, and a lot of times you hear people talking about scale, they talk about growth, they use them interchangeably. Is scaling something different than growing?
I mean, it's like the framework, right? Like, maybe it's not the framework, but if you set yourself up for scale, you're going to grow. So, I mean,
what's your definition now? Because I hammer on everybody every time somebody mentions scale. I'm like, oh, what definition are you using for scale and for scale?
I would say replication. Right? You want to set yourself up to replicate? What are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, you can grow in a lot of different ways. Growth typically, at least in my mind, is focusing on top line revenue. And if I'm in the idea I want to grow top line revenue, Okay, I'm in a house cleaning business. I'm cleaning a few homes. Maybe I can go ahead and I can start washing windows. I can maybe cut their grass. Oh, maybe I can get a hot dog stand and put it outside, my office door, vending machine. All of that
Start a
is,
daycare.
yeah, all of that's contributing to revenue. Where scaling is simplicity. It's about processes, and it's really about three things. This kind of gets into a book that Alan Lampy wrote. We're not going to go down this rabbit hole, but it's about building teams. It's about getting the right technology in place, and it's about having the right financial models in place.
Yeah.
And you start off small and you hit a wall, and you got to scale over that wall. And that wall might be, you don't have somebody to answer the phone, or you don't have a supervisor, or you don't have a manager to manage the supervisors. And all of those are different walls. Or
Yeah.
I've got a desk calendar to do my schedule. Okay, well, I'm using, the Office suite to do that, and I've got Excel. Okay, well, now I've got these disjointed pieces of software. Now I've got an integrated piece of software. That's all technology. The financial model, I'm going in the weeds here, but this is important. The financial model, and you've done this because revenue is kind of where it starts, but then you hit a wall and you got to figure out how to get your cost of goods sold down. We call that payroll to revenue.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out eventually how to get predictable profits. And that kind of gets into all the core KPIs. And I've seen you do this. I mean, you understand this. There's a lot of people that are growing, but they're not really scaling. But you're doing it from a professional management standpoint.
That makes sense.
That'll take you to a different place.
And I think, part of I'm thinking of past MaidCentral battles where I'm like, I don't understand this metric. Like, I need the formula. I need the math. One thing we're using right now is the maid consistency. You know how that works?
Yes.
I don't. I have no idea. And you know what? It just doesn't matter. So, and shout out to Katie for being like, it doesn't matter, Chris. Like, you guys told me a million times, but sometimes it just takes another person, right?
Yep.
And I was like, you're right. It doesn't matter. And so we set our goal at 70%. And now we're just building toward that, right? Because we found that, hey, if we send the same maid back to the same house as much as possible, we have happy maids, we have good tenure, we don't have turnover.
If you look at your team member turnover and your customer attrition rates, all those numbers will be moving in the right direction if that consistency number goes up.
100%. And that's what matters, right? And so we quit trying to figure it out, and we just went, let's just set the goal here and see if we can hit it. And if we don't, we're going to do better. Right? Simple.
I mean, I know how it works because, a big part of figuring it out, but that's my job, not yours. You don't worry about all the details, just use it and scale a business.
Well, I'm high, get on the details, but I'm going to get to the details. I'm a high C person, so it's very difficult for me to let that go. I'm like, but I changed this. No, it still doesn't work. I said, wait a minute. I just spent an hour doing this. Why don't I just try for better? This isn't going to matter. Like you said, it's your job. It's not my job. You do that.
Yay. I love it. All right. Well, talk to us about, because we are like halfway in already. I love talking about all this stuff. I think that a lot of people don't put enough focus on the things that we're talking about right now, but I do want to be able to talk about harnessing, the remote workforce. Oh, real quick plug. For those of you that have not seen yet, please go to coreprofitbuilders.com/events and check out the annual planning goal setting workshop that is coming up in October.
Wow, Liz,
where is that?
Good.
Virtual or?
It's in Atlanta.
Okay.
I just wanted to get it real quick. I didn't want to spend a bunch of time here.
Right here, October 16 through 18. It's going to be down RJ
Atlanta.
Patel's part of the country. I guess is he going to be, I guess we could say he's the host.
He is hosting. Absolutely.
And we have an event in September 25 through 27, MaidCentral Academy. It's going to be in Charleston. If you want to know more about it, just go to maidcentral.academy. We kind of explain what we're going to be doing in 3 days.
I appreciate that itinerary.
Yay.
Okay.
All right.
Hope to see you there, Chris. It'll be fun. You know, Matt Ricketts is coming. Joe Walsh is coming. We've got
so I'm not, I forget where I am. I'm somewhere else, but Maggie, our general manager, who's responsible for a lot of what we're doing, will be there. So say hey.
Okay. Well, awesome.
Laura
Christian is coming.
Before we move on, oh, I'm sorry, Tom, say it again.
No, Laura Christian is coming.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Before we move on from that, I also have to give you props, Chris, because you struggled to manage Maggie back in the day. You struggled, and looks like you have really figured out how to make this whole thing work and get the best out of her.
Yeah, just let her do her job.
High five. Easy says, hard does. Come on now.
You can make it so easy. Make a process, do your job. You know, this stuff's easy. Why doesn't everybody do it, right? So, but like, yeah, remote workers. It's so big. I mean, what are like, you know, there's these kind of like stages of maid services that are like pretty well documented, right? And so you're like stage 1, you're cleaning the homes and you know, then answering the phone with a mop in hand, right? And then there's like stage 2 where it's like, okay, maybe you have somebody in the office supporting you in the field, or you're in the office supporting somebody in the field. I'm not totally familiar with where they are, but like those times are very tough because money's very tight, especially back to scale. How are you going to scale yourself when you're out in the field? And it's so scary to hire that first maid and that second maid and to give up that control. And if you can push to the point where you have, you know, a couple maids and you're in the office, well, you know, then you hit that next wall of like, you know, calls are going to voicemail, emails are starting to pile up, like somebody rescheduled.
16-hour days.
Yeah. And so like, okay, what do? I need to hire somebody. Okay, I don't know what wages are like where you guys are, but if I'm going to hire somebody in office in Denver, it's not going to be for under 20 an hour, right? Yeah. So what do? Well, we live in a global economy, and I mean, what's great about remote workers, especially if you're going international, is you can pay somebody an amazing wage. And that's what we do at Carpet Monkey. You know, Rhoda she runs it. I mean, and she keeps us all accountable because we're a bunch of wily entrepreneurs, right? And she's smart, and she's in the Philippines. Just amazing, talented, logical person who can keep us all organized. And she's just so good at, like, you know, we gave her Yelp today where we have these Yelp quotes coming in, and we're like, hey, we need to get to them in 10 minutes. And we're like, hey, Rhoda, we need to get to these in 10 minutes. And she said, great. How about this template? She researched our competition. She got a couple quotes. She said, here's what everybody else is doing. She said, you guys have the best reputation of anybody else who's giving quotes. So here's what they're doing. Here's my template. Awesome. Less than half the price that it would take me to hire somebody here. Right.
I love that. And if you didn't have her, you would have spent 3 weeks researching, trying to figure out who should we call, what kind of questions should we ask.
Competitive analysis, like,
yeah.
You know, she just went and did it, right? And that's the right person. So
one of the key things that I heard from you, right here. I mean, you said 2 things, but the first thing is let people own it. Yeah. Let people own the process, own the outcome, right? Give them the outcome and let them own the process. Tom, you talked about this I guess been a couple months now with your GM that you hired, same thing, right? Like
Kevin.
Yeah, with Kevin. And I think your direction to him was, hey, here's where I want to be. Do what you got to do. Don't get us sued. right?
Well, a little more. I don't want to go broke. I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want to be sued.
Yeah, 3 things. All right, don't want to go broke, don't want to go to jail, don't want to be sued, right? But other than that, do your duty there. It's nice. All right. So first thing you said is let them own the outcome, right? Tell them what the outcome is. Let them own it. Yeah. And then you didn't mention it specifically with Rhoda, but you did mention earlier that you want to give them a metric to look at, right? Give them some measure.
Yeah. And so like, how do you find this person? And then, at Alpine Maids, we've done the same thing, and we do have US based remote staff. So we have Connor, who has a background in sales. Connor sold 8 recurring cleans yesterday.
Yay, wow. Connor.
And then we have Pandy, who is scheduled dispatch and admin. Pandy she used to manage over 100 contractors for IKEA. So you buy a kitchen from IKEA, she manages the contractors that go to install these whole kitchens, right? Yeah. I mean, we're talking about like major home renovation and teams nationwide. And so having her come in, and we're like, and this is how we dispatch the maids, and you do this at this time, and she said, can I just have like a day to go through the whole, like go through everything and look at it? And she came back the next day, and she's like, so I made a couple changes, and I really want to call your maids and establish it, like off the bat, just crushed it. And so like, how do you find these people? How do you know how do you know you're making a good hire? How do you know that the position's good? How do you know that the pay is good? Like I think those are those the obstacles that people are facing? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, certainly, all that sounds great. Sign me up. How do I get there from here?
Yeah. So back to the simplicity of processes. Is Liz okay? Is that an important call? Sorry to derail. All right.
I have no idea, but we're going to carry on.
All right. I don't know if anybody's interested in me sharing the screen and actually looking at the process, or I can just talk.
No, share your screen. That would be awesome.
Let's get tactical. I'm a real tactical presenter. I do better when I'm just like, here you go. All right, let's try not to infinity mirror you guys. Quick. Okay. Here's lifting the curtain. This is, I mean, look, it's just a Google Doc template, right? So before you're going to hire somebody, we create.
Can you blow your screen up a little bit?
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe boom.
Oh, beautiful.
Create the position, right? I mean, and that's the key. So, and it can be very difficult, right? When you're everything's going on, you're doing everything. So whatever you have to do to create space and clarity. There's also this new thing. Tom, have you heard about AI?
I was reading something about that the other day. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
It's so powerful, and it's been a huge help with this stuff. So define the role, make a job description. What is this person doing? And that kind of goes back to, what am I good at? What do I really like to do? I'm going to hold on to this. What am I not good at? What do I not like to do? It's the first thing I'm hiring, right? Because that's going to create time and space for me to be an effective founder and an effective manager and leader, right? And so take those things, define a reasonable role, right? One thing Liz has helped me through in the past is like, okay, I have this role. They're going to do everything. Liz was like, I don't know where you're going to find that person. Right? So, what are the key components? There's sales, there's admin and operation.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that's a common mistake. I'm a small business, and if you're a founder, in particular, where you started the business from scratch, you started that business, and your job description went on for pages. Every position on your organization chart, your name was in it. Okay. And we kind of get stuck in that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna hire some people to help. I've got this list of 50 things I need help with. I need to find somebody that can do these 50 things.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, does it?
No, if you just try to fire sale that stuff out of here, right? It's just, you're going to overwhelm somebody. You know, maybe they start picking up and getting some wins, then you keep unloading and dumping on them. Like, you're going to burn them out.
And they're not going to be effective at anything. If you ask somebody to do everything, they're not going to be effective at anything.
You're going to turn them into where you were.
Yeah.
So, you know, define the role, define the job description, right? That's where it starts. What are they doing? You know, if it's sales, it's probably answering the phone, responding to emails. And I think sales and customer service go hand in hand too, right? If you don't have a company that can support both roles, I think there's maybe some room. Those are complementary skills. Maids are a relationship transaction, right? Or a relationship business, not transactional. It's not a transaction, it's a relationship. So if somebody's a good relationship builder in sales, maybe they're good at customer service too, and put that in the job description. And then what are the KPIs? Well, I mean, if it's sales, it's probably a good close rate. If it's customer service, it's probably client loss. Answering the phone, you know, how many phone calls did we answer? How many leads did we get? Maybe it's admin with her maid consistency. What else would admin be? What's our is everybody showing up to jobs on time?
Yeah, scheduling, dispatching, you know, possibly some of the work measurement, payroll activity.
Sure, definitely. You know, KPIs for payroll, PPR, right? Like MaidCentral makes this stuff easy.
I know one of the things that you guys really do an excellent job of keeping up variance between normalized actual hours and allowed hours and doing rate adjustments.
Yeah.
And that would be something that this person could do.
Revenue per hour, definitely, right? Are your clients being quoted correctly, right? I see a lot of people struggling with like, oh, I don't know if I should quote by square foot or quote this way or quote by room. And it's like, take what you have, quote by it, see if you're doing a lot of rate adjustments. If you're not and clients are happy, keep doing it. But anyway, here nor there, define the job, set some KPIs around it. What are your targets? I don't know. Just do something that sounds reasonable. And you can be very upfront when you're hiring somebody. I try to be, especially when we hired Pandy, our admin. I said, hey, this maid consistency goal at 70%. We don't know if that's possible, but we're going to try. And she said, that sounds great. And then salary, like one way to find that is just to hop on Indeed and find salaries that are being offered for this. And if it's a remote position, that's part of the compensation package. And it's so huge, right? These people really like flexibility. You know, they're better when they're managed day to day less. If they can take a lunch break whenever they want,
yes,
they're going to be happy, right? And this is really going to help you keep your financials in line.
It's a different mindset, isn't it? You know, it's not about, okay, well, you're late. I mean, if they have, you know, some jobs are, I guess, synchronous where, you know, Mrs. Jones is expecting you to be at her house at 9 o'clock. You need to be at her home at 9 o'clock. But if you're doing more creative work and if you're more creative in the evening and you are in the morning, work in the evening.
Yeah. I think, you know, another thing Pandy had an issue with is we had her starting at 7 our time. And she said, that's not enough time. Can I start earlier? And we said, sure, you're doing a great job. And there are business needs, right? I mean, obviously, if somebody's taking off for 2 hours in the middle of the day and not responsive, like that's an issue. But we'll get to that because you should be able to work that out before you hire them.
So, is there anything in terms of, you were talking about like compensation, but or you have any thoughts on W-2 employee as opposed to 1099, and is it like being paid by the hour or salary? Any thoughts on any of those issues?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say it depends on you and your business and where you are, right? I mean, we've seen both models scale, 1099 scale, W-2 scale. I like W-2. I like W-2. I don't want to get too far into it. I like.
So your remote workers are, I'm assuming the person in the Philippines is not, but your U.S. based workers are employees.
Yeah, they're W-2 employees, benefits,
Benefit. Are they paid hourly?
Yes.
How do you track hours?
They go into MaidCentral and they just go 9-5-9-5 every day.
They use the kiosk to clock in and out. Got it.
They actually don't. They just set their schedules because they're all admins. But they can clock in and clock out through the kiosk like any other employee would. They do the same thing that our office staff would, and that's really the point. We don't treat them differently. We have the same expectations. It's the same role. It's just allowed us to get immense talent into our organization. And when we're defining these roles and KPIs, ChatGPT, man, I want to hire an admin. Here are the tasks, create a job description, edit it, throw it back in, edit it, and you're done. KPIs. Here's the job description. Can you give me 15 KPIs? Pick the 3 that look most relevant. All right. Add that seat to the accountability chart. Maybe not every company has an accountability chart, but this is an org chart, right? It says, who's your boss? What are you accountable for? Up to 5 things, max 5 KPIs. I should clarify that. Don't give somebody more than 5. It's too much. Nobody can handle. I can't handle it. But put them on an org chart. Let them know where they are in the company, and that also allows them to see growth, right? Like, hey, maybe I want to grow in this company. Where could I go? If it's just you and them, well, we're going to create more roles, right? So you're going to have infinite possibility. If your org is bigger, they're going to be reporting to somebody. And hey, maybe you're going to go here. Maybe we can create a new position over here in finance, right? If you're my admin and operations. It's just very helpful when you're hiring people to let them know what's their part in your organization, who reports to them, who do they report to. Don't have one? Throw it into ChatGPT. Here's who's in my org. And then C, this part's so important. Ideal candidate avatar. So before you hire somebody, right? I've made the mistake. I don't know, like, raise your hand. Who else has made this mistake of like, okay, I think I have this job. I'm ready to go hire. I want to know exactly who this person is. What are their soft skills? What are their hard skills? What has their job history been? I have a proprietary sheet from an organization. I would love to share it. I can't, but hard skills, soft skills, core values, beliefs, like this stuff's very important for fitting in with your culture. You're going to be working with this person, right? They're going to be working in your company. If your company is at the place where you have core values, this is pretty easy, right? You want to make sure they align with your core values. But we're really looking for, you want to find somebody.
How do you determine their core values?
Yeah.
I mean, knowing that, having your avatar is awesome, but in the interview process, that must be a trick to really figure out who's the better fit for your avatar.
Yeah, right. And so at Alpine Maids, we're positive, we take pride in our work, we're humble, and we're caring, right? Yeah. And so I'm going to take this job description, I'm going to take my core values. I'm going to take my hard skills, my soft skills, and I'm going to say, create an ideal avatar for me. Who is this person? And then from that avatar, I'm going to say, make a job ad that speaks to this person. I'm going to throw that back in ChatGPT or whatever program you're using, right? And we're going to get a really good job ad that speaks to the person who's going to do really good for the job that you need. And don't just post it straight from ChatGPT. Please edit this.
Read it.
Yeah, please read it. ChatGPT writes like a robot. Make sure it fits. Write it yourself, right? Like split it up and just write it yourself. But you can make a really powerful job ad, and that's your first kind of line of defense, right? Is now you have a job ad who speaks to the person who's going to do well in the job that you want. And then next up is create a core process for the job. So for every key position in our company, this is our HR core process. You're looking at it right here. We have a simple process.
So the major steps are create the position, and from that you create your job ad and you advertise for it. The whole interview process, you got steps.
Yeah.
Hiring, you got a separate specification for how to hire, and training, and a separate document there for training.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens after you train?
Cool. After we train, we just put them in the system, right?
Can you scroll down a smidge? I'm just reading your
thanks. I
document
gotcha.
here. There you go. Oh, okay. So the first 3 months, 5 review 555. What is that?
Yeah. So that is sit down with the person and go over. It's kind of misleading, but it's just 1 to 5 on 5 things. So your boss. Actually, wrong. We're going to take our core values and get it 1 at capacity. Let's not get too far into it. We can just start with core values. We're going to take your core values, and I'm going to say, hey, Tom, I'm your boss. I want you to rate me on how I've exemplified these core values up until now. And you're just going to rate me 1 to 5 on each of those core values. And then I'm going to rate you back. And so it's opening it up both ways, right? And you're trying to create safety and space for them to feel comfortable and really talk about how they're doing. And then I think the other 5 is GWC, get it 1 at capacity. Do I get my job? Do you feel like I want my job? Do I have the knowledge and capacity to do it? And you're going to rate them back. And then the other one is just a conversation. We're just opening it up. How's it going? How's life? How's the job? How can I lean in and support you? It's just a very broad review. And you're creating safety. That's the goal.
Okay, so you do the review and promote, trainer, or office. So this is kind of like your career ladder.
Yeah, so we're kind of down in the maid section. If we were hiring for office, we would have split off into this document.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So this is very much for maids and how we manage them. Hopefully we're looking at promotion and repeating and not termination. And our termination process is short because we try not to use it.
Very good.
One thing that I think, if I could say anything when you're hiring remote staff, hire them just like you would anybody else. The 2 things that you want to look for when you're hiring somebody are job longevity. We're getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applicants. People want to work remotely. You're going to need to screen these. Use a questionnaire, right? We use stuff like, why do you want to work for a company? What stood out to you about why are you excited to work with maids, right? I'm looking for good answers there, but really I'm parsing resumes and I'm looking for how long they stay at jobs. If I see somebody who only stays a year, they're going to stay a year here. It's past performance.
Maybe they'll stay longer because you're an awesome employer. Maybe their previous ones weren't, but past performance sometimes is an indicator of future results. We're really tight on time, but real quick, I'm curious, are there some positions in your organization that don't lend themselves well to remote work?
Sure. I think, well, any people manager, right? So field manager, operations manager, I've found that being in person works. I have seen maid services successfully hire remote general managers.
Okay.
Depends on how you run the position, right? Scales with the company. And then one thing I just want to hit, and when we're onboarding an office employee, is the 2-question reference check. So you've gone through the interview, everything looks good, it's a great person. 2-question reference check. First question, if you could, would you rehire this person? Second question, 1 to 10, how great of an employee were they? And you're looking for enthusiasm. It's not so much what they're saying, it's how enthusiastic are they saying. Obviously, if they rate them a 3,
yeah, you don't need to go any further. You know what you need to know.
Yeah, but how enthusiastic are they? Would you hire?
You can hear it in the tone of their voice, can't you?
Absolutely, and this is where we get very qualitative. I'm a very quantitative, data-driven person, but this is the qualitative part. I'll give Pandy as an example. Her previous supervisor said, "I'm no longer in a supervisor position because it's just not the stage of life I'm in. If I were, doesn't matter the company, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where, I'm calling Pandy." And I said, okay, I better treat her real well because I want her.
Right.
And then 1 to 10 was an obvious 10, right? And she just went on and on. I couldn't even get her off the phone. She just wanted to say so many good things. And that's an obvious hire.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we are at the top of the hour. Not sure how that happened, but
where does it go?
It goes by fast. I wanted to share this. Can you speak to chriswillatt.com?
Yeah. This is just my personal site. Everything that I spoke on today, I want to start documenting here. This core process that I just showed you guys, I'm a little behind the curve. Maybe I need to outsource it, but I hope to get a lot of the processes that we're using at Alpine Maids up here, and just want to make them available to the industry. I think they're really good, and I hope that it'll encourage sharing all around. And that's one thing that I've just loved coming into the maid business industry is how helpful and sharing everybody has been, which has helped me get to where I am, and I want to give back. And so this is where I want to make that happen. One thing we're offering right now, if you're ever in Denver, you can scroll down and book a 2-hour visit to our office. It's pretty structured, and we'll open up anything. You can talk to anybody who works at Alpine Maids, ask them anything they want. They're going to open it up to you.
Wow. This is awesome, Chris.
Thanks.
You're a coach as well, aren't you?
Not anymore, which sucks because I love it. It's so cool to like, you have these people who are like just rock stars, and you give them a little bit and they move with you. 2 kids, 2 businesses. I didn't have the capacity, and that one the kids took priority.
No, you're choosing wisely. You are. There'll be time. You'll get back at it one day.
Absolutely.
Chris, thank you. Appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations again on the Inc. 5000. You're doing awesome work, and you're playing a significant role in helping us professionalize the industry, and we all appreciate that.
Hey man, right back at you. Love it. Love MaidCentral. Thank you.
We will go ahead and call this a wrap, but we'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Until then, everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.